This is more than enough. And you guys are listening to all of the authors today of this incredible women's devotional, which is The Silent Struggle of a Woman's Identity. And I couldn't be more proud of you all. Truthfully, there is such depth to these words. And we've done several different compilation projects, but Candace and I have been so thrilled by this one specifically because you all are sharing parts of yourself that you've never shared other places. And you're sharing parts that the women and the men who are going to read this are going to be forever transformed. And I truly believe that. I truly believe for the depth of what's going to happen in this transformation zone that you guys have created. And so we're going to get started with this podcast by jumping in to the question of what are you most excited for your particular chapter? So if you were to say, I am most excited for someone to read X and get this out of it, what would that be? And I'm going to let two people share, and then I'm going to ask another question. Who feels excited about that question? What's the transformation zone that someone's going to have in your chapter? What gets you excited?
I'll go.
Go, Gina, and then Sandra.
Okay. I'm really excited for someone who is in the trenches, in the deepest pit of their battle and their season, to see that there's hope. Excuse me. And to read other stories that even when we can't see it, that God can just pull us, whether it's, by our hand or bootstraps or whatever, that he can pull us from the trenches, and that there's hope and there's testimonies of that happening over and over.
There's so many people right now that are in that space. They're in the trenches, right? And the cool thing about having empathy, which I think is a gift from the Lord when he's pulled you from those places, is you can see when other people are in them, even if they're not yet raising their hand to say, I'm in the middle of a mess. Like you can almost see them jumping into the pit. You're like, no, not that way, right? And this book is meant to be a reassurance that doesn't matter how far gone you might find yourself, there is a way out. And so I am grateful for y'all's stories in that regard, because that's what God did for you. Sandra, share what you're most excited about for transformation.
I am so excited. I wrote the chapter More Than a Pastor's Wife, and I was not expecting to write about that, but I didn't know I was the only pastor's wife in this space at the time when I was asked. And I just thought, what a gift to be able to speak into other pastors' wives who we play a very unique role. And so often we feel like anyone else in that we're not doing it well, that somehow we've missed, the job description, that this is just, it's hard. It's messy. People think certain things about us that we're trying to undo, and maybe feel like we carry burdens that are just too big for us. We want to fit in. So I talk a lot about what does it mean to really see who God has created you, not the role of a pastor's wife, but really created you, and walking through that journey of your beauty, identity, your worth, where you get your confidence, what you do when it just feels like it's too much, or when you feel really alone, and yet so many people, and so many people look to you. But really, I also, just the heartbeat of it as well is for those who are in churches who want to connect with their pastor's wife, because we need you. We need you more than we can even express. And so it's when the idea of understanding that you can understand a little window into us. And I was so excited to be able to speak into and kind of interview a few other pastors' wives in different churches to say, okay, I want to get this right. I want to speak on behalf of all of our churches, and how can we do this well? So I asked them a few questions. So just so excited about it. And I just pray that God does amazing breakthroughs through that chapter, as well as I can't wait to read all the others.